Good morning. How are you guys doing? Good morning to you. You live in a shoe. I'm like a minute away from the gym. And I'm a little nervous. But today, we are going to be confident. And today, we are going to achieve our goals. Today, we're going to be happy. We're going to be positive. We're going to be passionate about everything we do today. And be happy and be hopeful in the world. There's some affirmations for you. It is cold outside. It is like 34 degrees is what it says it is. And I was all cozy with the dogs in bed when my alarms started going off. My alarms, because I had 4 set. Because I was like, you better make sure that you get your ass to this thing. So, I don't really even know what to expect. The guy told me, when I signed up, he was like, he's gonna work your ass off, so be prepared for it. I was like, okay. You guys like Listerine strips? I think they're kind of strong sometimes, yet effective. Alex left this morning. We talked for a little bit this morning. He looked very handsome before he left for work. And he's took his bag of stuff that he's gonna change into because he's gonna leave straight from work to go to Chicago. So, PP and PE Eaters Bachelor Weekend Day has already begun. Oh my God, there are so many people at the gym. See, that's what makes me nervous, is going in there and then like having this personal training appointment. Whatever, right? Okay. Let me get off here and then I will tell you guys how it goes when I get done. I'll see you back later. Okay. I'm back. Should we talk about my training session? He worked my ass off. Woo. Okay. Well, what we realized was that Peter is a lot more out of shape than Peter realized. I mean, I knew I was out of shape, but like I'm really out of shape. Because it wasn't like going and getting on, what do you call it? Like a treadmill or anything like that. Like it was intense. He had me do, like, and he had, I mean, of course, like, you know, it's training, so he had me do everything really slow. And basically what it was, here's the thing, like he's so motivating, but like I could totally get discouraged walking out of there because I feel like 100 times more out of shape than I felt when I walked in there, but I guess it's just the reality of it. And I was super honest with him. We sat down and we talked for a while. I was super honest with him about like what my goals are and how, you know, heavy I am and that I'm gutted and what I want my, what I want to look like and how I want, I mean, he was so cool. He was very nice, very educated, getting ready to go to medical school. And, I'm getting ready to go over to Meijer to get some of those Morningstar sausages. I'm out of them, and maybe like some kind of smoothie drink. But anyway, no, he was awesome. And he had me start off by doing squats, of which he corrected my form. And after he corrected my form, I barely could do about 2 of them. They were so painful. He had me do 5 of those, and then he had me do 5 of these like mountain climber things, and then he had me it was all these tests that he had me do to see like body wise. And he was like, you know, your strength is pretty good. He was like, but if I was going to do training with you, my training would be focused on cardio, but it wouldn't be like treadmill cardio. It would be like lifting weights cardio. He was like, because that's the area, your cardiovascular system is what needs a lot of work. He was like, you've got to reduce your weight. So anyway, then we sat down at the end, and you know, he was like, he wants me to come in there, so I'm gonna go in there tomorrow. He was like, I think it would be really good because you kept on talking about food issues. And his college degree, he's a nutrition and something else. So he was like, I think it would be good for you to come in here and sit down and talk to me. He was like, I won't charge you for it, about your diet, and we can kind of come up with a meal plan for you of what you'd like to eat and that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, that's a good idea. And so then at the end, I sat down and talked to him. I said, okay, so what's it like for me? Because he like wasn't real pushy with like doing the training. He was like super nice. He's like, you could tell he just like loves what he does. And I mean, he had kind of his own personal story about how he grew up, and he was like 300 pounds when he was 16, and he started working out, and that's what got him interested in fitness and stuff, which, you know, of course I love a story, and to hear that kind of success story from somebody motivates me. And so I was like, you know, like, well, what's realistic? And he was like, well, usually at the beginning I recommend between, you know, once and twice a week for 3 to 4 weeks, or, you know, and then that would be one-on-one. And then after that, he said, I'd like to put you in a group. They do group trainings there. He said, because we believe, you know, that it's like, it's more challenging when you have other people in the group. You're going to work harder with, you know, partners and things like that. So I was like, and this was hard for me. I was like, okay, I'm willing to do whatever you recommend, whatever you tell me to do, I'll do. So he goes, okay, well, let's start with once a week. So I was like, okay. So I'm going to come back in tomorrow, and we're going to talk about my diet. So depressed about it. And then I'm going to sign up for my personal training once a week tomorrow. And I asked him, I said, well, what should I be doing? Did I leave my water bottle in there? Oh no, here it is. I was like, what should I not be working out between now and then or whatever? He goes, oh, no. He goes, let the training be supplementary. He goes, in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to come up with your workout schedule, your training schedule, and I'm going to build it for you. And he was like, so the next 3 weeks of us training are going to be me kind of figuring out like how you work, how your body works, what areas you need the most work on, things like that, to come up with like, you know, which I've never had that before. I've never had like a personally designed like workout program for me. So I'm excited about that. And he was like, but I want you to come in, continue to come in here. He was like, I'd like to see you in here 3 to 4 times a week, you know, working out, doing cardio, lifting. He was like, to the best of your ability. Don't beat yourself up that you're not getting everything right. He goes, I'll correct your form over time. He was like, but I'd really like to just see you getting in here and getting used to the gym and getting comfortable with the gym. And he was like, you know, he was like, even if you get on the treadmill and you're not running absolutely correctly, he was like, you're getting on a treadmill, you know? And he was like, that's great. And you got to start seeing your, you know, accomplishments and patting yourself on the back. So it was just hard, you guys. Like, it was really hard. Like, I know I'm out of shape. Like, I know I'm heavy. I know I'm gutted, but like, I don't know, like, for some reason, like, staring at myself, looking in the mirror, well, first of all, so he went to college with my brother-in-law. So we're sitting there talking, and I was like, so he had said something about how he started studying music, and then he ended up, and I go, where did you go to school? And he goes, Ball State. And I said, oh, my brother-in-law went to Ball State. I said, how old are you? And he said 25. And I said, oh, you're my brother-in-law's age. And he was like, what's your brother-in-law's name? And I was like, my brother-in-law's name is Monn, you know. And he was like, oh my God, I know him. He was like, I thought he was from California, or I thought he lived in California now. I go, no, they live in San Diego, he and his girlfriend. And I said, he was like, oh yeah. He was like, yeah, I knew Juan at school. He was like, he was great. So, you know, I've got this 25-year-old trainer who is like completely in shape, and he's like 6'3", and I'm standing there and I'm like, you know, hi, you know, and I can hardly do a squat to save my life, and I'm gutted, and I'm like, and I looked at him at one point, I was like, I just, you know, I'm feeling real discouraged about this. And he was like, you have to start somewhere. He was like, you have to start somewhere to get where you want to get. He was like, if you don't start today, he was like, you're not going to ever get there. If you start today, you know, a month down the road, you'll be further down than you want to be. And I was like, why is it that I can say this to other people? Like, I know this to be true, right? I can say it to other people, but like, I found myself just getting so discouraged, you know? But I don't know, I'm glad that I did it. I'm gonna maybe go back to the gym tonight and do some cardio. That's kind of my goal. I'm like not discouraged now. I'm just, to be honest with you, I'm kind of tired. Like, it kind of wore my ass out. But I'm like really happy that I went and I did it, you know? And I'm happy that I'm making the commitment to continue to do it and stuff. It's just that, you know, like I was talking to, I don't know if I was talking about it on here, if I was talking about the meeting last night, but like, you know, in life, like learning new things for me, I've always been resistant to it. Like if somebody says like, you know, let me teach you how to, I'm always resistant to it. Like I'm not resistant to thinking I know more. I'm resistant to change, right? And this is a change for me. And so it's not comfortable. Excuse me, but like I said last night, I have to do things that are not comfortable for me to continue to grow. I will tell you this, that like I got there and he wasn't ready when I got there. And so like I picked up my phone and I was sitting inside. He was like, give me just a couple minutes. I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I was like looking through the comments from my vlog, and you guys, there were so many of you that were like, thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for talking about your weight loss. And I was like, I've just done this for a week. And I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? Like, I can do this. Like, I can do this thing. And I think that, you know, so many of those messages really, really helped me. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm gonna go get something to eat because I'm starving. And I need a little bit of a lunch because it's 1:30. Oh my God, I was there for an hour and a half. That was a long time. Okay, well, I'm gonna get off here and I will see you guys a little bit later. Bye. Okay, I have to show you this just because it's funny. So I went into Meijer and I got Morningstar. The the veggie breakfast maple flavored sausage patties, America's #1 veggie sausage brand. And I also got a coupon afterwards to use next time. And then I got my corn stuff that I like. And then I got these granola bars that aren't probably not super healthy, but I don't really care. Because I just need something around the house when I'm getting, like, I need for something sweet. And then I got this berries and green veggie shake smoothie thing. So that's the healthy stuff that I got. But then, for my review channel, are you ready what I got? I got everything Holiday Hostess peppermint Twinkies. There's 5 things in here that are Holiday Hostess that I'm going to try. So I will be showing you those sometime in the next week. I'm gonna try to save the the holiday reviews for closer to, why am I tying this bag? I don't know. Closer to next week. Can I just show you? Here's all my Hostess stuff that I bought. It was expensive too. I thought it was like Little Debbie shit because I bought all the Little Debbie healthy. I bought all the Little Debbie holiday stuff too, like a week ago, and I haven't reviewed it. This is, so our pantry for being healthy is all unhealthy shit for reviews, basically. What do you do when you're a review channel of the world? Okay, so anyway, I am going to go home now, and I'm gonna go get a coffee from Starbucks, and then I wonder where the closest Starbucks is around here. And then I'm gonna take a shower, and then I'm gonna make some videos, and then it's PP and Peter's bachelor weekend. So I mean, what are you doing? It's PP and Peter's. Not really. They're gonna be back like in the morning, super early. So okay, I'll be back later. Bye. Hello. Let me adjust this. Don't turn off. Okay. I'm leaving the grocery store. The grocery store is turning into being one of the most dangerous places for me. Oh, because every time I go into the grocery store, I see things to review on my review channel, okay? But the problem is it's all food stuff, and food stuff is really fun for me and really easy to review. So there's ending up being a lot of food stuff over there. But the other problem is it's also really unhealthy stuff. So I'm gonna have to wait till like my cheat days and film like 3 of those videos, I guess, in a row on my cheat day maybe. I had bought some things at Meijer. I thought I got the whole holiday collection, and then I came here to Kroger and they had like 3 or 4 more of them. So to buy the whole collection, they weren't expensive. I had to buy the other 4, so. And then I saw something else that I wanted, and then another holiday item, and then I saw another holiday. So I bought 4 different things to be reviewed today when I went to the grocery store. But what I really went back for, because this was the second time I went to the grocery store today, I went for mustard because I got the Morningstar chicken nuggets, because I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. I haven't really eaten all day today. I want to eat something good tonight for dinner, so I got the Morningstar chicken nuggets. I love those chicken nuggets from Morningstar. So But I got home and we didn't have any mustard. And I was talking to Alex because he left for Chicago, so we were talking while he was on the way up there. And he was like, well, I have like mayonnaise in the refrigerator, you can use that. And I was like, and you know, any other day, sure, I would probably dip it in mayonnaise, but I was like, since I'm on this, I mean, I want to eat it with mustard. So I went back to the store and got mustard. I'd already gone to the store, got stuff for the dogs for their dinner tonight because we were out. And do you ever just have one of those days that just gets better and better and better? So let me just tell you first of all, okay? I am so sore today. I am so sore. And, you know, I worked out with him for an hour. I bet we probably worked out total 45 minutes. But the things that he had me do were like squats, planks, lunges. He had me do those, you know, those, what do you call them? Those ropes where you go like that. And all this other kind of stuff. And, you know, lifting the round, what do you call those? I can't think of what the name is for those. Shoot, the something bell, you know, that you pull up. But anyway, he had me do all these squats with those and other stuff. I am in so much pain right now. Like, I am so sore already from having worked out tonight. But like, when I left, going to Meijer earlier, is this my third time at the grocery store today? This is my third time going to the grocery store. When I went to Meijer, I bought, well, I showed it on here, didn't I? Did I show it on here? I think so. Anyway, but, so yeah, we are fully groceried now. Which is kind of funny because there's a winter storm advisory out tonight, and which scares me for Alex driving on the interstate. But Tanya told me earlier that everybody was at the grocery store and they were buying out like all the milk and bread, I guess, to make French toast for the next 10 days that we're snowbound and you can't get out of the house. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I don't know, but I've been to the grocery store 3 times today. That's ridiculous. But I am so sore. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. But after I got off here earlier and then I went to Starbucks, it's been a long time since I vlogged earlier, and I went to Starbucks, I don't know if it was my endorphins kicking in or what it was, but I just was like blissfully like calm and happy. Like just super like, la, la, la. And I went home and I filmed videos on all of my channels except for my review channel today. And then I posted those. I got them up by like no later. They were up by like 5 o'clock. And I was really happy with that. And I had fun making those videos. And then let's see. And then that was it. Then I went to the grocery store again. And then I talked to a friend of mine on the phone for a long time. So she knows who she is. Hey, girl! She watches my vlogs. She said, she's so much fun to talk to. And we don't talk to each other very often. I could talk to her for hours, literally. Anyway, such a good soul. But we talked on the phone for like an hour, and then I got the phone because I was like, I have to eat something and I have to call Alex back. Oh, because he had called in like while I was talking to her on the phone. So I called him back. They're on their way up there. They're like halfway there. And he didn't sound as excited about going now that he's on the trip. So, and then I was like, so now I'm gonna go home and I might do a live stream later. I don't know. I'll just have to see. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna take a nap. And since Alex is out of town, I might go to the casino tonight. I don't know, it just kind of depends. I don't have to be up early tomorrow, so, and he won't be home till super late, so it's like, you know, whatever, I might as well. But let me just tell you what I just did, okay? So my husband does not like a made bed. He likes a bed to be messy. He loves to get into a bed with like messy blanket. And we're actually thinking about getting one of those. We're thinking about getting a California king size weighted blanket. Do y'all know anything about these weighted blankets? I've heard so many good things about them. And, you know, they're supposed to help with like anxiety and sleep issues, even like ADD and ADHD supposedly and all that stuff. I've heard really great things about them. We're thinking about getting one. If I did, you know, like, I would obviously, like, we would use it for a while. Then I think maybe Alex and I would both like review it back together on our channel. But, I mean, why not? Because I know, you know, if I don't know anything about it, I need to look some videos up and see. The thing is they're expensive. They're not as expensive as I thought they'd be, but like for a California king, it's like $200. But I guess it's kind of that's similar to like a down comforter, right? I just don't want to buy it and then have it be something that I don't really want and invest that kind of money in it. You know, I mean, $200 is a lot for a comforter that, you know, I mean, go to cheap TJ Maxx and get a good comforter for, you know, a king size bed for, you know, $50. We need a California King so we can both enjoy it and pull up the sides and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but I went upstairs tonight before I went back to the grocery store because I'd already fed the dogs, and I made the bed really nice. And I sprayed it down with that Twilight Bath and Body spray that you can also, that doubles as a, what do you call it? A fabric spray as well. And then I took the bed and I like folded it over, you know what I'm talking about? Like, so you just like pull it up and get in. So it was real cozy. And then I was like, I'm gonna put on an Alfred Hitchcock movie and I'm gonna fall asleep with the pups for an hour or two and take a nap. And I'm just gonna have a real enjoyable evening by myself tonight. It'll be fun. So anyway, I posted a picture of, okay, so the landscaping people came today and they like got all the leaves up in the back and the front yard. But in the backyard, I don't know if they're coming back, if they're gonna get something or what. They didn't bag them up or anything. They just left them there in this huge pile, a huge pile, right? And I saw it and I was like, oh, there's no way, you can't do that and expect me not to jump in these leaves. So I got in the leaves, I jumped in them. It was so much fun. I hadn't been in a pile of leaves for a long time. I took a picture. Of course you have to, you know? If you don't post it on Instagram, it didn't happen. Isn't that the rule? But I like brought Pee-Pee in there. He was very confused. He didn't understand what was going on, so he rushed right out. But Boo Radley loved it. He was like jumping through the leaves and he poked his head out and stuff like that. And I was trying to get pictures of him poking his head out because it was so cute. He'd like dive into, seriously, he'd like dive into him and then he'd like stick his head out and look at me, and I was trying to get a picture of it, but then he would move too fast. So I finally got a picture of him like running out of the side of it, and I posted both of those on Instagram. So if you want to go see my Instagram, go check it out and follow me and like my pictures. Go follow my husband too. He likes all that. I don't know why I have my turn signal on. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna eat, have a good dinner, and then I don't know what I'm gonna watch on TV. Do you guys like to eat while you watch TV? I love it. It's like one of my favorite things in life. And then I'm gonna lay down. American Horror Story's on tonight, but I'm gonna save that till Alex, you know, tomorrow or Friday or something. I think it's the finale, although it seems really weird that it's gonna be the finale of it when there's so many things I feel like they have to wrap up. I have not loved this season of American Horror Story, I have to be honest with you. In fact, this might be my least favorite season ever. I thought it was Freak Show, but I think this is my least favorite season. I feel like they referenced a lot of the, I don't know, I feel like it wasn't true to American Horror Story. I feel like they were trying to show a lot of like referencing all of the past seasons. But like if they were gonna do that, I wish they had done all of the seasons. Like I wish they had referenced Freak Show. I wish they had referenced, you know, Asylum, not just pick and choose. And I mean, I understood what they were doing, but and the storyline, I felt like at the beginning really dragged. I talked about it on here even, you know. And then at the end, I feel like it's like rushing to catch up. And it doesn't seem to make sense. Like as American Horror Story show, like, you know, usually they make a lot of sense. I didn't love Hotel either, but I thought it was extremely well done. I liked watching Hotel. It just wasn't super interesting to me about it. Vampire stuff and all that kind of thing is just not that, it's not my gig. I don't love it. So, but anyway, yeah. Oh, I am like really more so though enjoying Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I think I'm on the 4th or 5th episode now, and I really kind of like it. It kind of turned around a little bit for me. But here's the thing, like, I either binge watch a show like in 2 days, or it takes me like forever to watch a show. And I'm like watching like, maybe I'll watch a little bit of that while I eat. I'm like watching like 20 minutes of it a day now. And then I'm also trying to listen to Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire to get it done so that I can read or listen to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. But then I'm also trying to watch Harry Potter and The Prisoner of Azkaban because I've never seen the movie. So like after I read each book, I'm seeing the movie. So I'm trying to get through that. I'm still very close to the beginning because I watched 10 or 15 minutes of it, and then you know, I have to do something, or Alex walks in, or whatever. And I don't want to just like have it on in the background while I'm doing something, if that makes sense. Like I want to watch it. So I literally sit there for like 10 minutes, and then something happens, or somebody calls, or whatever, and it's like, oh, can't watch it now. So But today's been a fun day. Like, I've had a really good day today. Just real enjoyable, you know? Talked to Tanya for a long time on the phone. She's doing this sobriety service thing tonight that she and her sponsee do. She's going to that tonight. They don't always do it, but they're doing it tonight. And Tanya's like really afraid to drive with anybody unless it's me or her husband and her son sometimes. But she hates like horrible weather, but she also like can't see real well at night, so she doesn't like to drive herself. So her sponsee's picking her up, and she's like, I made a commitment to go, and I don't even want to go because the weather's going to be bad, and I'm going to be scared on the road. And I said, Tanya, you're going to be fine. I think it was at like 7, and what time is it now? It's like 7 or 8, I think. It's 7:49, and I'm like, whenever they say the weather's going to hit at like 7 o'clock, it never hits till like 2 in the morning. It's from 7 p.m. tonight to 7 p.m. tomorrow. The morning's supposed to be what's really bad. Oh, 2 years ago, I was on YouTube at the time. So I think I vlogged some of it and put it up on my main channel. I have no idea where it is over there. But I was coming back from a meeting and I got stuck on the interstate on black ice for like 6 or 7 hours. I was stuck. I mean, it was so scary. And there were cars that were going up the exits to get off and just would be like, they'd start rolling back into the sides. They couldn't move anymore. I mean, we literally couldn't move. There was nowhere to move. And as soon as they would start moving cars, and then idiots would come forward and they would just like go crazy because they've been waiting there for so long. And I literally thought I was going to have a panic attack sitting in that car. Like, and you couldn't get out of the car either because it was black ice. Do you guys know what black ice is? You can't really see it, but it's like so slick. It literally, I got to the meeting. It wasn't even raining or anything. I was there an hour, and when I came out, it was undrivable. It was like that bad. And I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. Charles Gross and I were really good friends at that time, and he kind of talked me through the whole thing. So nice of him. And like, I was afraid that my, battery would die. I was like all nervous about everything because people were just turning off their cars and just sitting on the interstate. And then at like a car, somebody would like drive like all the way, like they would finally like start moving, and then somebody would come, and they would come real fast, like they had no patience whatsoever, and they get in an accident, and then we'd have to wait another half an hour. It was a mess. So yeah, I'm hoping that's not that. I hope we don't have a whole lot of weather like that tonight. Look, I have my workout bag here still. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying your evening. My hair's kind of held up, hasn't it? I didn't even do it today. My hair, that is. Anyway, okay, you guys, I will be back a little bit later. Bye. Hello. How are you guys doing? Okay, so we are supposedly in the middle of an ice storm, and I can't really tell if it's that bad. The roads don't seem that bad at all. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the gas station and get a cup of coffee, and because I took a late nap with the dogs, which was so wonderful, but I'm like awake now, so the roads are either gonna be fine and I'm gonna go get a coffee. I cannot even tell, like right here, and this is a side street. Like, our streets are always really bad. Yeah, it doesn't seem that bad to me. But I will tell you that I came out of my house and my windshield was completely iced over. And I had to break the ice scraper out and have my windows defrosting for like 15 minutes. And then I had to fire truck. I had to, what do you call it? Buy a, not buy it. I had to get the de-icer out. Do you know what I'm talking about? I bought a bunch, that's what I was gonna say. I bought a bunch of that de-icer stuff last year in the winter, and I had it in the freezer. I'm like losing my mind. I can't speak. Okay, I had a bunch of that de-icer stuff, and I had it in the garage. I kept it in the garage. You guys know what I'm talking about. What is going on with my head? It's that stuff that you spray on your windshield, and it's supposed to help, like, you know, de-ice your windows. That's why it's called de-icer. Okay, who cares? It doesn't matter. But anyway, the roads don't seem horrible to me. The ice is kind of like chunky ice, so it's like easy to drive in. But I told Alex, I said, if you're driving through this, I don't know, this can be scary on the interstates. Okay, so are you ready for Alex's night? He's real over it right now. So they got to Chicago. It took them forever to get there. They didn't get up, they got a late start, so they didn't get up there till late. They went to where the DJ concert is, and they went on an hour late and said they had to reschedule the show. So they drove all the way to Chicago, okay, paid for these tickets, got up there, and the show was rescheduled. They didn't find out till like an hour into the show that it was going to be rescheduled. Like, everybody was just standing there waiting for the show to start, and it didn't start. So then that was just probably like, I don't know, 45 minutes ago that he told me that. He's like, I'm so over it. So, yeah, these don't seem very bad to me. He said that he was, that they were going to go to some place called the Underground. I don't know, some bar or something like that up there. And then they were going to come home after that. And I was like, well, I'd be real careful getting on the roads. He's like, well, his friend's girlfriend, she's not drinking, and so she's driving home. I was like, I don't know why you guys just don't get a hotel room and stay up there for the night. Like, this isn't even worth it. Because the thing is like, they're coming from the north, so I think it's supposed to be worse. Although, Bloomington, where Indiana University is, they like got like snow and ice tonight, so I don't know, it'd be interesting to see if there's any schools closed tomorrow. Schools closed. See, up here on like the main roads, it's just slush. Yeah, it doesn't seem that bad at all. Not at all. But people are going real slow, I can tell. And they have the road cleaners out, because I can see the guy ahead of me, and he's salting the road. So I made dinner tonight. Okay, I had those chicken nuggets, those Morningstar chicken nuggets, and I don't know like what happened, but like my stomach really hurts. Like, it hurt. Or, well, it hurts still. Like, I'm full, like I'm way full. And I think that I'm used to eating smaller meals, and I probably had like 8 nuggets, and I ate them really fast, and I just don't think that that was the greatest idea, obviously. And anyway, that was my dinner. And then I watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, and then Alex and I, and then the pups and I, we went upstairs and we took a nap. The pups and I, we took a nap, and it was nice. And then I got up and hear all this slush hitting my car. And then I got up and gave PB his medicine, took the dogs outside. That's when I like scraped my windshield, and it feels like it's just kind of rain now. I don't know. Although it's 30 degrees, so if it's coming down, I'm sure it's freezing. And then I turned it off. I wonder why the windshield. Okay, so I turned the heat off on the windshield. But anyway, and then, yeah, and now I'm here. How are you guys doing tonight? I kind of really wanted to watch American Horror Story tonight, but I was like, I'm gonna wait for my husband. I'll be a good husband and wait. I'll be a good husband and wait. I almost went to go trim my nail right before I left, but this one corner of my nail is driving me crazy. But oh well. Did you ever notice, like, when people are like driving and stuff, and it's like they're always, like I was talking about this last night with that black ice, it's like this woman next to me. She was in like one of those VW bugs, and like she took off real fast and fishtailed, and I'm like, okay, you know we're nice. Okay, it doesn't matter how bad it is or how not bad it is. You know we're nice. You might not want to take off like a race car. You know what I mean? You might want to think about that a little bit. Really nobody out tonight though. I mean, it is 1 o'clock in the morning. Now that I got the heat pumping in this car, I really want a bottle of water. I really just don't want a coffee anymore, even though I'm up. I don't think I need any more coffee. And it's kind of hot in here, and I'm thinking, oh my God, a coffee would... I was like, okay, so I was like looking at my calendar tonight, and I was like trying to figure out like our plans for like the next 2 weeks and stuff. And I kept on thinking that, for some reason, I kept on thinking that Thanksgiving was the 29th. But Thanksgiving's next week. Like, Thanksgiving's, when you guys are watching this, it's a week from Thanksgiving. Hello? Have you got your turkey yet? Have you got your stuffing? Have you got your fro turkey, whatever they call it? All the different kinds of turkey they have, but turkey, veggie turkey. I'm sure there's some kind of, excuse me, vegan turkey out there. And I'm sure it's really delicious. Did you hint any of the sarcasm in that? Yeah. I have to say, like, you know, from past and present, like eating so many veggie burgers at so many different restaurants and so many different places, and eating veggie this and veggie that. And it's interesting, like on the Morningstar bags, it says on there, like, voted #1 chicken, like vegetarian chicken, and then it's like voted #1 meatless sausage patties in the country or in the United States. And I'm like, they really are the best, honestly. Like, their chicken nuggets taste like chicken nuggets. Their sausage patties taste like sausage patties. You know what I mean? I can't really tell if it's bad or if it's not. It's like, here it's like mostly like rain puddles. It's raining though. I don't think it's bad. Anyway. Oh, silent night. Holy night. What are your favorite Christmas carols? Do you guys like Christmas carols? If you're like one of those bitter ass people that doesn't like Christmas, you can't, I mean, if you celebrate it and you don't like it, you don't like Christmas, you don't like Christmas trees, you don't like Christmas ornaments, you don't like Christmas candy, you don't like Christmas carols, all that stuff, what is wrong with you? Like, seriously? You need to just take 1 year and stop being so bah humbug and Scrooge and try to just get into the season of, you know, 'tis the season to be jolly, and just try it 1 year. I know a lot of people have like a lot of misery that's going on in the world right now, but you know, like, sometimes it's just like stupid stuff like that to try to enjoy, you know? Okay, I'm gonna go in here and get a bottle of water or something to drink at the gas station. At the gas station. At the gas station. This one doesn't have those TV stations, but I wish it did. Gas Station Network. The #1. What is that? Some like big. It's like this like bus or something. Okay, I'll be back in a second. All right, I'm back. It is like so toasty warm in this car. I got a bottle of water. And yeah, this nail is driving me crazy. When I was at the gas station, I watched the trailer, which I guess came out today, for Dumplin', which was a book by Julie Murphy that they made into a movie with, what's her name? Jennifer Aniston. And it's coming out on Netflix December, I think, 7th. Okay, this was my favorite book of like 2 years ago. It's one of my favorite books of life. And then this year I read Puddin'. Was it this year that came out, or was it last year? Which is like this kind of sequel. It's like a spin-off. Like one of the characters, Millie Milichek from Dumplin', is the main character in Puddin', which I liked just as well, if not better. But Dumplin' is such a great book, and I am so excited to see this movie. I cannot wait to see this movie. And so anyway, the trailer came out, and like Dolly Parton is a big part of the book. And so her music, so she did a song with Sia that's like the theme song for the movie. But on the trailer, like it's her music all the way through, which is interesting because Dolly Parton rarely, I don't know if you guys know this, but she rarely allows her music to be used in movies. She's like Stevie Nicks. Like you can almost like not use her music in a movie and things like that. But I think she really is a huge part of this project, or she's like helping produce it or something. I don't know, but she's like a big part of it. I remember years ago I saw this movie, and it was called, shoot, I can't remember what it was called now, but it was about this girl, and she was from a small town, and she like worked in this like Photoshop place, and her best friend was gay, and she just wanted to get out of town, and so like she went on this road trip, I think to find her mom or something, and they were going to New York City for this contest that was called like the Night of a Thousand Stevies. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Which is very similar to my Night of 100 Santas that I was talking about not too long ago. But I can't remember what that movie was called, but it was such a great movie. But I remember like in the movie, like they would play music that was similar to like Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac, but it wasn't Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac, if that makes sense. Like, because I don't think they could use the music because it was copyrighted. That was such a great movie. I can't remember what that was called. The girl that was in it, she was also like in a TV show that I watched. I think it was that TV show Perfect. Not Perfect. What was that? Was that TV show called Perfect? I can't remember. Do you guys know the TV show that I'm talking about? And the girl that played like the main character that was popular and really mean, she was like a mean girl. She ended up like not on the show, but like in real life, she ended up marrying Melissa Etheridge. Do you know who I'm talking about? Does anybody know this show? I feel like I'm so old talking about this show. I loved this show. And the one girl that was on it, she was like this really dumb rich girl, and she now is on American Horror Story. She plays the one girl that is like really dumb and rich. It's like, I know a stretch, but like she's that girl on the show now. Do you know what I'm talking about? She's the witch that can make like, she can tell somebody how much gluten is in their food. Do you know what I'm talking about? She played this character called Mary Cherry on this show. Anyway, I don't know what that show was called. I actually have like the first season of it at home somewhere in a box. I do remember though that the Christmas episode was fantastic. I remember Glee had a Christmas episode that was really fantastic too. Did you guys watch Glee? Jason and Melissa and Alex never watched Glee. He couldn't get into it, but I loved Glee. And like all of my friends, all of my recovery friends, we all watched Glee at that time. And I remember when it ended, like that last episode, I bawled my eyes out. Oh my God. And they dedicated the auditorium to Finn. Ugh. These are the shows that I cried my eyes out at the ending. The Wonder Years. Do you ever remember the Wonder Years? I loved that show. Lost. Oh my God, the ending of Lost was so fantastic. And let's see what else. The Haunting of Hill House, I cried at the end of it. There's a lot of shows that I cry at the end of. But you know, like when you watch a show for like a really long time and then it ends, like the series ends. I haven't really been that committed to watching a TV show like that in quite some time, that I would be crying my eyes out over the end of it. I just haven't. I'm trying to think the last TV show that I was like that with. Lost is like the last one that stands out that I really... Oh, you know what? When I watched The Killing... It's on, they're all on Netflix now. Like, that show, the end of it, really got me. I don't know why. That's like probably my favorite show on Netflix, is The Killing. It's so fantastically done. It's so beautifully shot. It's just, I don't know, it's like gut-wrenching at times. Because it's like a mystery, but at the same time, it's like dealing with like people's like, you know, inner demons and stuff like that. And it talks about addiction, and I just loved that show. I thought it was so well done. Here we go again. That was in the preview, and now I've got it stuck in my head. I'm on the interstate, and the interstates are not bad at all. I kind of was just going up here for a little bit because I wanted to see how bad they were for Alex coming home. And it's, I mean, it's wet, but it's not, you know, horrible. It's just like, it's kind of like raining outside. I can't honestly believe that we're having this kind of weather early in November. What do you guys do for Thanksgiving? Are you excited for Thanksgiving? Are you going to go Black Friday shopping? Is anybody from Indiana going to go to Edinburgh Outlet Mall and try to find me? We will be there. And I will let you know closer to the time what time we will be there. Water is so good. The guy at the gas station was like, I know him from, because he used to work at McDonald's and stuff. He's always teasing me when I'm in there. He's so nice. And he's like, you're drinking the good water tonight. I was like, I love this water. I love this core water so much. You guys, let me just tell you that, like, I almost kind of wonder when I was saying that my stomach hurt, like it hurt. I almost kind of wonder if it's not because he had me like do all this ab stuff today, and I'm not used to like appropriately working out my abs whatsoever. This like personal trainer thing is going to be really good for me. Like, you know, he'll like measure me, like, I think it's like once a month when I come in there, and I don't know, it's just gonna be good for me. I was talking to Tanya, and she's like, I'm really proud of you. She's like, this is like outside of anything that you've usually done. She's like you're really good about getting into the gym and working out, like when you get into it. She's like, but like for you to like actually get a trainer, and Tanya was talking about that, like the last time that Tanya had a trainer was like 2 years ago, and she's like, I loved him. She was like, you know, he would push me so hard. She was like, she's like, it's very similar to having a sponsor, you know, in sobriety. And she said he would push me so hard, and because I knew that he cared about me, and because I knew that he wanted what was best for me, she was like, I would be willing to, like, you know, do things that wouldn't do for somebody else, like as far as like, you know, exercising and things like that. And she was like, because she had an injury and then she had to stop working out with him, and she was like, I remember one day, she was like, he was pushing me so hard to do something, and she said I just like fell back on my back and I started crying, and he just looked at me and he said, let it out. Just let it out. Whatever you got to get out of you, let it out, because this is not about the working out. The working out is the medium that's being cathartic for you to get this stuff out. And I was thinking about that, you know, and talking to Tanya, and that it's just like this thing, this part of like everything else that I'm doing right now in my life. And I feel like I'm going through like this major change and this major transition, and it's scary, but it feels good at the same time. And I'm kind of trying just to like walk into it, you know, with open arms and be accepting of it and be like, okay, this is what it is. And, you know, like I'm going through a change right now, the change of life. But you know what I mean? Like, nothing seems like it did, you know, a year ago, but that's okay. You know, life changes and life is good, and you know, Alex has been eating really healthy at home since I started this, and to me, like, that is it's so supportive, because, and he's eating things that I can't eat, which is good. Like, he's been making, okay, so he made grilled chicken the other night. I mean, it's pretty healthy, and then healthy for him, you know. And then he made grilled chicken on the George Foreman grill. He loves that George Foreman grill. He cooks on it all the time. He makes chicken on there and then puts it in salads. He makes like Greek salads and stuff. And then he took avocado, sriracha sauce, and then like feta cheese, and he made this deal up, and he made this little salad on the side. And the thing is it's like, if he was sitting there, you know, bringing home, which he will from time to time, and that's okay, but if he was bringing home like Chipotle or pizza or something like that, like, I would really have a hard time with that, you know. And he's being so supportive of me, and that's awesome, you know. I think anything that you quit, you know, whether it's food, drinking, drugs, smoking cigarettes, shopping, whatever it is that you're doing that you're trying to work on, you have to have people around you that are supportive, you know. It's like, you can't, like, if you're, I mean, I think you can, okay, like, for sobriety, I truly in my heart of hearts believe that anybody can stay sober in even the worst situations, but I don't believe that living in less than ideal situations where people are using drugs and alcohol makes it any one bit easier, you know. And if you're living with your family or you're living with a partner and they feel the need to continue to drink, I mean, I think honestly they probably need to take a look at their own substance abuse issues, you know. Because if you have a loved one that's trying to stay clean and sober, can you not drink or engage in drugs for them? And I'm talking about even like going out and having a drink and coming home, like, and having it on your breath, you know, at least for 6 months or 3 months, you know. And I think as people that have addiction issues, we're not great in asking for the support that we need from people. We just kind of expect it sometimes. And then when they fall short of that, we get angry and resentful. And it's really about, like, you know, okay, so like I might not tell somebody that they can't drink around me in early sobriety, right? Or if people ask, I won't say like, oh yeah, no, it's fine, go have a drink. When in reality, I'm thinking to myself, we literally used to sit and drink together, and you're gonna sit here and have a beer in front of me. But then that's what my mind says, but my mouth is saying, oh no, sure, go have a beer. When in reality, what I should be saying is, you know what, it would make me feel a lot better if you didn't, just because, you know, I just want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you while you're having a drink and it brings up old memories for me. You know, you don't even have to go in and explain all that. You just say, I would prefer if you didn't, you know? But I think a lot of times we don't ask for what we need directly, you know? I think that's more in early sobriety. And I told Alex, you know, I said, go out to dinner all you want. You know what I mean? And if you need to bring things home from time to time, that's fine too. And like, he snacks on things that I don't like. I don't like veggie chips. Those veggie chips taste like cardboard to me. I don't like them. So he can eat 10 bags of that. But I was like, But I said, you know, could you be like cool while I'm trying to eat healthy and not bringing tons of shit into the house? And he was like, yeah, babe, no problem whatsoever. Like, he literally has like a 5-pound bag of Sour Patch Kids. Okay, so whenever I go to the grocery store, whenever he's like feeling sick, if he's not feeling good, I'll be like, you want me to bring you anything, babe? And he'll be like, could you bring me some Sour Patch Kids? So this is kind of this like cute little thing between us. So one time I was at the grocery store, and you know, like, you can get a bag of Sour Patch Kids for literally like $1.75. Well, they have these like 5-pound huge bags, and they're like at Walmart, they're like $3 something. They're super cheap. So I brought him this huge bag. Well, now that's what I always get him. That's what he wants, and he just keeps it in the closet, and he'll get like a handful of it and come down. Like, Alex is, I don't know how he does it, but he is like such a moderate, like he can eat moderately so well. So anyway, check the time. I don't know what time I'm on. But there's always a bag of Sour Patch Kids in our pantry. But I don't eat Sour Patch Kids. I don't like sours. I don't like sour anythings. Alex's best friend is vegetarian / vegan. She's trying to be vegan. And so I was telling her about the candy that I bought and how it's got gelatin in it. And she's like, yeah. She's like, it's hard to remember all that stuff all the time and whatever, and she's being really helpful. So she's been like texting me like candy and treats that she'll find that are like vegan. And so she texted me tonight this thing. It's like, I'm wondering if it's those like frozen, like, you know what those things are called that you can get at Whole Foods? She said it was called like mochi or something, but she said that it's like a candy treat or something like that you can get at Trader Joe's. So I'm gonna go there tomorrow and see what that's about. Starting this early with snow and stuff like that, it's gonna be, well, hell's bells. I feel like I was talking for so long there for a second, rambling, that I don't even know what I was talking about now. What happened? I don't know. I'm kind of surprised they haven't left Chicago yet. It's 2 o'clock. If they left like right this second, that would put them in Indianapolis at 5 in the morning. And then Alex's car is downtown, so he's got to drive home. And he's got to work at 8. Alex can sleep in a car like nobody's business, though. He has no problem with sleeping in a car. Can you guys sleep in cars? I can't sleep in cars, and I can't sleep in planes. Not at all. Did you see that water hop out of that bottle? Did you see that water hop out of that bottle? Down at the fishing hole. You guys, any of you watch Real Housewives? Atlanta's a good season this year. I'm liking it. Oh my god, I had the best nap tonight. Do you ever just have like the best nap? Oh my god, my bed was made so nice. And Boo Radley was sleeping on Alex's pillow, and I was whispering to him. I said, Boo Radley, you have the best place to sleep on the whole bed. He said, I know, Dad. That's why I ran right up here. I set the pillows up when Alex isn't there. Like, I put his pillows like one down like this, and another one like that, so it's like a bed. And Boo Radley sinks into the back of it. He's just, it's so sweet. And then Tucker And Pee-Pee were at the end of the bed playing with toys the whole time. I don't know that they ever even, like, fell asleep. They're so cute. They're so, so cute. I've, like, lost my mind, though, because, like, I talk to the dogs, like, when I'm there alone, and then, like, I do their voices back, too. Like, I was getting my camera ready to vlog tonight, and Tucker was sitting on my lap, and I was like, I go, Tucker, do you know what a camera is? And he goes, no, Dad, what's a camera? And I said, well, a camera is something that you take pictures and movies with. And he goes, can I take a picture? And I said, well, you sure can, Tucker. And I said, where would you like to take it? He said, well, give me a moment. I need to get real pretty first before I take a picture. This is my out loud conversation, okay? Really sad thing is there's about 20 of you out there nodding and saying you do the same things. That's what the really sad thing, okay? Is that there's a lot of us out there that do this, okay? It's not like anything abnormal. That's the really weird part of it. I don't know why I'm so dehydrated, but I could literally drink about 5 bottles of this. And I'm mad now too because at the gas station it was buy one, get the second one for $1. And I almost bought the second one and I thought, no, I don't need that much water. But I should have got it. Okay, I'm gonna get off here for a second. I'm gonna call my husband and check in with him and see where they're at and what they're doing. And then I will be back in just a little bit. Okay, I'm back. I talked to my husband. And then I drove around and listened to Christmas music. And people always kind of ask me, like, you know, how do you get an idea for a book? Or you should do a video about, like, writing a book and whatever. And it's interesting, like, how ideas form for me. And they kind of, like, take place over time. Like, but I came up with an idea of what I want to do with the book that I just kind of started outlining right now and I started working on, which is the Christmas book about the woman that's sober. And just driving around listening to Christmas music for half an hour, I got the beginning and I got the end and I got a way to theme the whole book, which I'm really excited about. So, I feel like it's all kind of coming together in my head. The weather is still shit. It's literally a winter wonderland outside. Everything is covered in ice, all the trees and everything. Winter wonderland. It would be pretty if it was Christmas, but it's not Christmas. It's not even Thanksgiving yet, even though I'm listening to Christmas music every day of my life. What is wrong with me? It's like I want to do all these holiday reviews on my review channel, but like I know that people aren't necessarily ready for it yet. But I have a week. When Thanksgiving starts, like, I can do the holiday reviews. So I'm excited about that because I have a ton of them to do. But I don't want to do them overboard before then, you know? Look at that. Hamilton IMAX has Christmas trees and everything all lit up. That's pretty. Maybe they're always like that. I don't know. I guess I'm looking at these buildings that always have lights on them and I'm thinking it's for Christmas because I'm like in my head thinking about Christmas. Well, I didn't go work out tonight like I said I was going to maybe do, so that means I'm going to need to go work out tomorrow night. He wants to sync, like, be part of my Fitness Pal, like, so he can see, like, what food I'm eating and my workouts and stuff. And so I use my I read it on here the other day, but, like, I'm real private about it. Like, I don't let anybody, not Tanya, not Alex, I mean, they can see it, like, if they wanted to, they've never asked, but, like when people on here have been like, well, can I do it with you? And then, you know, why do I have this zipped up so high? And then, you know, we can motivate each other and stuff. I'm like, I'm kind of real private about that, you know? And so when he said that to me today, I just kind of looked at him and he goes, what? And I don't know why. Like, I don't know why that. I mean, I come on here and I talk about my weight, right? So, like, you would think it wouldn't make that big of a difference, but it's like, I don't know. It feels like real private to me. And so he goes, are you willing to do that? And I go, yeah, I guess, like, I'm willing to do that. And he goes, is that hard for you? And I go, yeah, I don't know why it's hard for me. Like, and he goes, well, that's good that you're willing to do that. We all like pats on the back, don't we? My husband, by going up to Chicago tonight in the cold, has gotten sicker, which I knew was going to happen. Poor guy, I feel bad for him. Like, when Alex doesn't get sick very often, but when he gets sick, like, he is sick, like, miserable sick, you know? I was thinking back tonight on, like, all the Christmases from the past, you know, and, I'm, like, not sure if I want to, like, talk about this book or if I don't want to talk about this book. I don't know how much I want to say in case I actually finish it and people read it, but of course it'll be a year from now. So what I decided was that every chapter is going to be titled a Christmas song. And every Christmas song will, like, so the beginning of the book, it's about they get stuck in a blizzard. Well, not get stuck in a blizzard, but a blizzard happens. It's about a woman, and this is the deal, okay? So it's about this woman, and I haven't decided her name yet. I have a couple different names I'm kind of like swimming around with. And she, I have passed like 3 really horrific accidents tonight. And she, is sober, and she's been sober for like 6 or 8 years. And she was married, and oh man, they went like down in the ditch. Oh, they went through the guardrail and down into the ditch. It's not even like that icy out on the roads. It's so weird. Anyway, but I've been like driving really slow, so like 40 on the interstate, so I don't know that, you know. I'm like weirdly safe about driving, you know, like with speed limits and stuff like that. Alex is always like, you can go faster. I'm like, yes, I know I can go faster, but I'm not gonna go faster. So it's about this woman, and she moves back home to where she's from, and she buys this little house, and she's just real depressed. She just feels like, what's the point anymore? Like, her life's falling apart, and she can't find a job, so the job that she has is just, like, so I haven't really figured out everything about her yet, but like let's say if she's an architect, right? She can't find a job, like, that's not gonna be what it is, but I mean, like, let's just say if she's, I don't know, whatever she is, like, she comes where she was making pretty good money, she moves back here. I think she's gonna move back from Chicago, and it's gonna take place in Indianapolis, like, out in the country, and she can't find a job, so she's working this, like, assistant position, and she hates it, and she's not any good at it. And so the day that the book starts, they let her go. And so she kind of just doesn't even really know what she's going to do with her life, and she's kind of suicidal, honestly. And I decided that at the beginning of the book, she's going to have a bottle of, like, Tanqueray gin and these pills, and she's gonna wrap them in a Christmas box and put it underneath the Christmas tree, and it's like this present to herself. And then she's gonna have one last Christmas, and then when it's over, she's gonna be done. Because she's like, there's no point anymore. Like every dream that she had is falling apart. Every dream that she had is over. And so she's talking to her mom on the phone, and she has to pick her mom from the airport, and her mom's pissed because they're not like going to like Mexico or Florida or somewhere. There are pieces of this that are very similar to the other book, but I don't know that that one's gonna ever be done. So it is what it is. And she's just not excited about her mom coming for Christmas, and her mom's bitching and moaning about why they're not doing that, and she's doing this, and she doesn't have the money to do it, and so she has to pick up her mom, like, on the mega bus, and her mom's pissed that she has to take the mega bus, but she can't afford to fly her there like she used to be able to do, and, so, like, she gets off the phone, and her sponsor calls her and says, don't forget that you agreed to do the service position where you're taking the, like, the sobriety hotline for the week. And she had completely forgotten because she was just so, like, just depressed and just checked out, you know? And so the week of Christmas, she's the one that has to take the sobriety hotline in their area, which means if anybody calls in that has, you know, like a sobriety emergency or whatever. So she picks up her mom, that's like on the 22nd. And it starts like snowing like horribly. That chapter is going to be called Let It Snow. Do you get it? So like each chapter will be, I'm thinking about calling the book Silent Night. And it's going to be about like, she collectively over the course of like the 22nd to the 24th picks up several people that like one guy that she's known like since he's like been sober forever, and he and his dog, like their heat went out in their house and he has nowhere to go and he has no family, and so he calls and he's like, is there anybody that I can, you know, be with, you know, whatever. And so she comes and picks him up and brings him to her house, and at first like all these people, it's like this huge inconvenience, and then there's like a young girl that's trying to get sober and she's really struggling, and they try to get her to a treatment program and they can't, so she brings her to her house, and she's like slowly like weaning her off, and her sponsor like went out of town, and it's just like this huge mess. And then she's got this like mother with these like two kids that come in, like they have nowhere to go and they can't get into a shelter, so she goes and picks them up and they come and stay there, and it's like all of them in this house for like during Christmas. And it's just kind of like this cathartic change over a period of a couple days of how she becomes very grateful for her life and what she has and what she's been given. And she looks at her life in a completely different way over the course of like 2 or 3 days in response to these people that she interacts with in her home. And the chapter called Silent Night is going to be like very late on Christmas Eve, and like her mom falls asleep like in the living room, and she's like watching him, or this guy who his name's going to be like Harold or something, and he is like falling asleep like in this chair next to her mom, and they kind of like strike up this weird romance, and they're like watching It's a Wonderful Life, and she goes in and like the kids are asleep on the floor, and you know, this girl's like asleep in her guest bedroom, and she's like checking on everybody, and it's like still outside, and she looks out the back window and it's like snowing, and she has like this moment of clarity where she's like, this is what it's like life is about, you know, like this like silent moment of connectedness of people. And so yeah, so I don't want to tell the end of the book, but because even though like things are better for her, that's a trap too, because she's like, okay, so is this as good as it really gets now? Like, I've been down for so long, and I have this, you know, like I have this moment of clarity of like all this kind of stuff, and I see my life in this perspective now, but is this as good as it gets? So she still has this, you know, question at the end of, life worth living. And that's really what it's about. And, you know, that like life is ultimately a gift, you know? So that's the book that I'm working on right now. Let me know what you think in the comment section below if you'd be interested in reading it. And I know Silent Night is kind of like a corny title for it, but it plays, I think, out into the rest of the book. Plus, Silent Night is my favorite Christmas song. Well, I have lots of favorite Christmas songs, but I would say it's one of my favorites. And this is really funny, but my favorite version of Silent Night is John Denver and the Muppets. And if you've never heard it, part of it he sings in German. And it's just really phenomenal. And when I was growing up, you know, Christmases were hard because, like, well, Christmas Eve is my favorite part of Christmas. I love Halloween, but Halloween and Christmas Eve are a very close tie for me on favorite holidays, favorite days of the year, honestly. And Christmas Eve when I was growing up was just very magical, you know? And my mom and my aunt just made a huge effort for Caroline and I and our family, and, you know, to have, like, it was always like you dress up on Christmas Eve and it was a very elegant dinner, like beef Wellington or something like that, and, you know, candles lit the whole house and fireplaces burning and music in the background, and it was beautiful. But there was a lot of drinking that came along with it, and when I was younger, I think I kind of got used to that. I mean, I've talked on here before about, like, there was like one Christmas that was absolutely horrible, but there were a lot of Christmases that I just kind of knew that was part of it. I don't know. It's like weird when you grow up in an alcoholic home. It's like you kind of like the drinking and the boisterousness and all that kind of stuff. And it, to some degree, it seems fun. It seems like that's something you want to do, which I do think is part of why I ended up becoming a drinker. I mean, I think I genetically am predisposed to be that, but I also think that for me, it like very much was like enticing. Like, I want to be, you know, like that. I want to have that in my life. I gotta turn around here at Aldi so that I can, which I still haven't been to because Alex texted me and I want to see what he has to say. He said he has this ice scraper, but a small ice scraper, and his car is parked at Starbucks where I guess they all met up. I thought he went to go pick up his friend, but I'm like, I don't know if he needs me to come and get him when he gets home. Okay, so he picked up his friend and met her at the Starbucks, and when they get home, he's gotta... he's like, is the ice really that bad there? And I'm like, yeah, it's like, do you guys want to see how bad the ice is? Here, I'll show you the front of my car. Look at this. Can you see? Look at the road. Like the icicles. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to like scrape your car. It's bad. I like let my car run forever before I got into it. What I should show you, actually, is my antenna on my car, because it's literally just like an ice like stick at this point. But, you know, I grew up in this home that was like, well, I mean, just a family. I mean, all of them drank, you know? And so, my mom, my aunt, all of them, you know, like, it just was a lot of drinking. And Christmas Eve, there was always like, you know, we would have like this very elegant dinner, and then my aunt would have like people come over, and so, you know, it was always like a big party. And, you know, well, there was two big incidents that happened when I was growing up. One was the Christmas day that my dad, I think it was the year, I should ask my dad, I think it was the year that my dad, he left that January, so it would have been the following December. And he came, and like for me, they tried to give me a normal Christmas, and so my dad was there, and my mom got like explosively drunk, and it was absolutely horrible. And it just was really ugly, and my dad's nurse had to come and pick me up, and he had to leave, and it just was horrible. But there was another Christmas when my mom, on the way home, because my aunt would do Christmas Eve and my mom would do Christmas Day, that on the way home, this is with my grandma, my mom put her car in the ditch. Not like that car in the ditch. I mean, it was just like a little ditch, but, and I've shared that story on here too. And she had been drinking. And so after that, I think because my grandma was a teetotaler, she did not drink. She hated it. She hated it. And my grandma would cry sometimes, like when my mom and my aunt would like start drinking and like fight. My grandma would just sit at the table and cry. And my cousin Caroline would be like, "Grandma, what's wrong?" And later my mom would say that like was the thing that really upset her, was, you know, she was like, you know, Mother hated that we drank, and she said it was unladylike, and she just really disliked it. But so after that, we started having Christmas Eve at my mom's house. But either my mom or my aunt, they would always have like but then, you know what, we went back to like, I think like when my mom, like towards when she got sober, sometime around there, we went back to having Christmas Eve at my aunt's house. Because like when Caroline and I were like in our 20s, before and after I got sober, like Christmas Eve got to be a bigger and bigger deal. Like my aunt would always have a lot of people over, like after dinner, like we would have an early dinner, and then she would have a lot of people over, like, you know, like a little Christmas Eve party, and people would be stopping in for cocktails, of course, and all that. When I was younger, we used to go to, like, we would go over to their house, and we would go to my aunt and uncle's church for the 10 o'clock service, and that was, like, all Christmas hymns. I don't know why I remember that, but I remember that. And, I don't know why I would remember that the service was all hymns, but it was just like, I remember my mom later, we talked about it, and she was like, the church they go to does a whole service that's all just hymns, which I think is kind of cool, with the choir. But so I love Christmas Eve, but I don't even know why I started telling that story. I've kind of completely lost now what I was going to say. I know what I was going to say. Like, Christmases were always very magical, and, you know, just kind of like, I don't know, like what you imagine Christmas Eve to be like in a movie, but like tainted because of the drinking, if that makes sense. And I mean, I remember lots of Christmases as a kid when like my mom couldn't even make it to like, let's put cookies out for Santa. Like I specifically remember that. And yeah. I think I sometimes really minimize like how much my mom's drinking really affected me when I was growing up. You know, like, I think you become so immune to it after a while because you're like, you're so used to it that like, I mean, it bothered me. I know it bothered me, but I think to some degree you become so immune to it that it's kind of like, well, I mean, you know, it is what it is. But like, I've told the story on here before. Like, my mom would be, I don't think she would love that I was sharing these stories, but they're my stories. It's my story, you know. Tanya and I were talking about that the other night. She said, you're so protective, you know, of like some of your family, like in meetings, like when you tell stuff. And she's like, those are your stories too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were affected by that stuff too. And I was. But the way that I found out that there was no Santa Claus was the year that my mom put the car in the ditch with my grandma. So my mother literally was standing on the side of the road by the car when this couple comes, and it's probably, no lie, 1 o'clock in the morning, okay? And it's snowing like crazy. There's nobody on the roads, because of course it's Christmas Eve, and it's this highway kind of main road that goes through the north side of Indianapolis. My mom's standing out there, and this family, there's like a husband and a wife and their children, like this little small car, and they came and picked us up. And then we got home, and I remember I can see my mother standing at the kitchen island. We have this big, huge kitchen island, and smoking a cigarette, making a drink. I can see her doing that. And my grandma just like being like, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you call AAA? Did you? Oh, it stopped. And my grandma being like, did you call AAA? Did you do this? Did you do that? And my mom being like, mother, stop, mother. And so anyway, there was that whole deal with having to have AAA called. It just was all this huge mess, I remember. And my mom and my grandma fighting and yelling the whole time. And then my grandma coming in and like telling me that everything was going to be okay. And she sat down and tucked me in and said Santa was going to come and all this kind of stuff. And I look back on that and just think how fucked up all that was, you know? So anyway, when you came up our stairs, we had a staircase at the end of our hallway, and when you like turned the corner, at the end there was this closet right there, like this huge closet, and then my bathroom, and then if you walk down the hallway, there was a guest bedroom on the right, and then my mom's bedroom was on the left, and her bathroom was in her bedroom, and then my bedroom was at the very end of the hall. So like, and I had bunk beds, so I could lay in my bunk bed and I could look straight down the hall. Well, my mom, I couldn't fall asleep because of course I was worried about my mom. And so my mom, like she finally came upstairs and put her nightgown on, and later in life my mom always wore those like short pajamas. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like she would wear like a short sleeve pajama, but it would be like a set. Do you know what I'm talking about? And that buttoned up, and then she would always have like a robe that like some, you know, Victoria's Secret robe or something like that. But when my mom got like, this is the thing, like, that's funny about my mom, is that I think she went through these periods where she felt very much like she had to be, like, momish, you know what I mean? Because she wore those, like, Lands nightgowns when I was growing up, those really long ones. I don't know how the hell she slept in that shit. I really don't. I don't know how you women out there, if you sleep in nightgowns, or men, I guess, I don't know how you do that. I went through this Peter Pan phase where I had to have a long nightgown to go to bed. You know those like boys ones, like Brooks Brothers? My mom had like, she went to Brooks Brothers and got me one of those like shirt nightgowns I used to have. That's so funny. I totally forgot about that. But anyway, so I was laying there in bed and she came upstairs and she changed her nightgown, and then I noticed that she was coming out of her bedroom and she was carrying like bags and like presents, and then she was going downstairs, coming back up, and she was like weaving in the hallway or in the, you know, and I knew that anyway, like, because she would like sit in her room and she would like drink and watch a movie, or like after I went to bed at night, and then she would like kind of go down the hallway like this, and that's when I knew my mom had been drinking a lot. But then she started getting into the closet, and she started bringing these presents down from the closet, and I could see her doing it, and she was taking them downstairs, and then when I went down the next morning, she was like, Santa was here, you know, and whatever, and I was like, that was my mom. Like, that's how I found out there was no Santa Claus. That's kind of a sad way to find out, you know, and I was young when that happened, too. I bet I was, I don't know, 7, something like that, when that happened. And then my mom and I, we never talked about it. Like, later, when she got sober and I got sober, we talked about it. And she really had a hard time always hearing those kind of stories. Those were the stories that were really hard for my mom to hear. She could deal with like the fighting with Kathy. She could deal with, you know, whatever. But like those stories were like the ones that she really had a hard time with. Because my mother, I think, so much of her life, she really, like my mother above everything was a mother. Like, that was what she prided herself in. But her drinking often came in the way of that. And when my mother wasn't drinking, she was a fantastic mother. And, you know, but when she was drinking, and she knew that, and I think it really hurt her soul. Because she struggled so hard. I mean, she tried to quit so many times on her own and couldn't do it, you know? So, but we kept up this facade for years, you know, that like, I still believed in Santa Claus, way past when I should have ever still been believing in Santa Claus. Although I still kind of believe I'd like to believe in Santa Claus. I'd like to think that there is a North Pole and Santa brings presents, you know, I do like that idea, but prove me wrong. In fact, when I was older, my mom would put like from Santa on some of the presents, and I would be like, Mom, and she'd be like, what? I didn't give it to you. I love my mom so much. She's so awesome, but I'm really, you know, I feel like one of the blessings in my life is that my mom died sober. She didn't die drinking. Because I really don't know what I would do if all of my memories were just like that, you know? And I really feel for people out there whose parents passed away, like in the middle of their addiction, because you don't really ever have a chance. I mean, I'm sure, you know, there are good memories too, but it's like, do those outweigh the good memories, you know? I mean, I've heard so many people sit in, you know, meetings and talk about their parent that passed away from this, and I feel very blessed that, you know, my mom and I had, you know, 12 years and 11 months of sobriety together. I can't believe this is a real weird time for me. I'm just going to tell you, okay? This time of year, every year, it fucks with my head. Because this was the beginning of the downfall for me. I wasn't invited to my family's for Thanksgiving in 1994, the year that I got sober. My dad said to me, he called me, and he said, your aunt and your mother think it would be best if you, no, your aunt thinks it would be best if you, something like that, you didn't come for Thanksgiving. And if you're drinking, no, thinks it would be best if you didn't come if you're drinking the way that you're drinking. And I said, okay. And that was where I always spent Thanksgiving at that time, was with my mom and my aunt. I was like, okay, you know, like, I don't give a fuck. You know, that was my attitude. Like, I didn't give a shit, you know? Which now, like, you know, obviously you know how much holidays mean to me. And, so around the beginning of November, middle of November, right around right now, was really when my addiction, like, I mean, it was bad the last 6 months, because that was when I was using cocaine on a pretty regular basis. But that last 6 weeks was, I mean, it was not good at all. I don't really remember much of it. The majority of it, I was in a blackout. So my sobriety birthday is December 17th. And so I'm talking about the time before that, leading up to that. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. And it was also kind of the time that, like, a lot of weird shit happened. Like, I ended up, like, waking up at places that I was like, how did I get here? And I'm not talking like hooking up, that kind of stuff. I mean, yes, that happened to me in my addiction, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, ending up at people's houses that I didn't even know how I knew these people. You know what I mean? Like, scary shit. Like, and how did I get here, you know? And it would be like, and Indiana's like kind of a weird place, because I think that like when you think about addiction, you go to like, you know, crack houses like in the inner city, but it wouldn't be that. It would be like some house out in the middle of the country, and I wouldn't like have a car, and I'd be like, how the fuck do I get home from here? Like, where am I, you know? And we didn't have Ubers and shit back then, you know? So it just was very scary to me. And, you know, I would like go outside, get in my car wouldn't be there, and, you know, then 3 hours later, somebody would call me and be like, hey, I don't know if you remember, but I took you home last night because you couldn't drive and your car's at such and such place. I had no recollection of it, you know, and it was scary. It was really scary. I look at that and I'm like, I don't even know how I made it out. So, like, and I'm gonna, you know, like, in all honesty, in early sobriety, like, what was really, like, I'm not really in the mood to get emotional tonight, so I'm, like, kind of, like, fighting back a little bit, getting into this real deep. I really believed I should have died. Like, not that, like, you know, oh, well, like, I was going through some stuff, so, like, you know, I probably could have died. I mean, I believed I was supposed to die and I didn't. And I really believe that to some degree today, you know, that my higher power, I don't know, saved me for something. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to do something. I don't know. But I don't know how I made it out of that. And I don't even really know how to explain really truly how desperate it got. You know, I'm not a person that thinks, like, this is something Caroline and I have talked a lot about with, like, suicide, because I've never, like, felt truly suicidal, like, where I've had, like, a plan, or, like, I really thought I can't go on anymore. Like, I've never truly felt that way in my heart. I never really have, like, where I've really honestly thought that it was an option. And I think it's weird, because I think most people have thought that at some time or another, you know? But what was scary about that time of my life wasn't that I was that way, it was that I didn't care. I didn't care if I lived or died. I mean, I really did not care if I ever woke up. There were nights that I would go to bed and I would just, I can remember, like, on the nights that I wasn't even using as much as, like, maybe the night before, and the only reason I wouldn't have been was because I ran out of money and didn't have enough alcohol, or couldn't, you know, get somebody to, you know, bring me drugs or alcohol or whatever. And so I'd be, you know, half drunk, laying there, thinking to myself, I'm gonna take 4 Vicodin. And I didn't consider this suicidal. I don't even know how to explain it, but just, like, just don't let me wake up. Like, there's no point. Like, what's the point? Like, how am I ever going to get myself out of this? I felt trapped. I felt trapped in this life that I didn't know how I was going to get out of, you know? And I look back on it and I was like, and I think to myself, my God, you had 100 options and you didn't even realize it. You saw only one road. That's scary, you know? That when you can only see one road and that road only leads to desperation. If you're out there and you're struggling with this shit, if you know somebody that's out there and they're struggling, you have options. You have lots of options, okay? You don't have to be alone in this. I felt completely alone. I was afraid to talk to anybody, you know, about any of this kind of stuff. And I knew, I was like, how long is this gonna, I mean, I was like, I'm screwed. Like, how much longer do I have? Like, you know, I was already a year later from graduating from college, and I was supposed to be, because I was like a year behind. So at that point, I was like a year behind, and I knew it was gonna take me another year. And then I was like, and then what do I do when I graduate? You know, like, I just had no clue, you know? I just had no clue whatsoever about my life or what I was doing or anything, and it was just terrifying to me. And so this time of year is always very weird for me. It's like, I remember back a lot. And it seems like every year I remember, like, one new memory that I I had kind of forgotten from this time. I don't know if that makes sense, you know? There's a saying that more will be revealed, and it doesn't necessarily apply just to, like, memories that you can't remember. Like, that's, like, in the literal. But literally, like, there have been things that I totally forgot that all of a sudden I'll be like, oh my God. You know? I remember when I first got sober, I was seeing this counselor, and, like, it really bothered me that I couldn't remember things that had happened to me in blackouts. And I was a blackout drinker. And if you don't know what a blackout drinker is like, if you pass out from drinking, you just pass out, you go to sleep. But a blackout drinker is somebody that you continue to perform, and to everybody around you, you seem to be completely coherent. But you don't remember much of it. Like, you might remember bits and pieces, but you don't remember much of it. Your brain blacks out. And I mean, I know people that literally were in blackouts for 2 and 3 weeks. I was in blackouts for extended periods of time, like days. There were days in a row that I was in a blackout, that I would come out of a blackout and be like I would think it was Monday and it was like Friday. Like, true story, scary shit, okay? 22 drinking. That's how bad my drinking was. So, and my husband's calling me. Hold on a second. Okay. So, anyway, he was just telling me about his night. And I'm getting ready to get off here because I want to go home and start rendering this vlog so I can get it up tomorrow. But anyway, what was I going to say? I know I was talking about at the end. I mean, it was just really scary, you know? And oh, I remember when I was talking to my counselor and talking about blackouts, that he said to me one time, he said, your brain remembers something when it's ready to remember it. Which I thought was kind of an interesting concept. I mean, I don't know that I necessarily believe that, but because I don't know why I remember certain stuff when I remember it, but why are the side streets always so much worse than, like, the main streets? I mean, I guess that's kind of a stupid question, isn't it? Because they don't do anything to the side streets. But, yeah, like, I've remembered stuff through the years. I'm just like, just weird stuff. And then I don't remember, like, the whole thing. But I'm not friends with those people anymore to ask them, like, what happened, you know? And when I was at the end of my using, I didn't want to know. When people would tell me things like, oh, let me tell you about I didn't want to know, you know? My first couple years sober, I would have people that, like, came up to me, like, in public at places, and they'd be like, hey, how are you? And I'd be like, good, how are you? And they'd be like, you don't remember me, do you? And I'd be like, no. This one guy, it was so embarrassing. He, like, came up to me, and he was like, hey, how are you doing? And I was like, good. And I was like, just kind of looked at him, and he was like, you don't remember me, do you? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, we used to kind of flirt with each other and stuff a couple years ago, and we used to kiss on the dance floor, and, you know, I asked you out a couple times and whatever. I had no clue who this guy was whatsoever, and I was making out with him on a dance floor. It wasn't all bad. I had a lot of good times too, but you know, it's like at the end it just wasn't fun anymore. There was nothing fun about it. It was sad and desperate, and everybody around me knew it was sad and desperate. Even my friends that were drinking and using with me, they knew that I was, like, you know, 100 times worse than they were. And I think the misconception is when you're using, you think everybody around you uses like you do, but that's not the case. You and then you also think, well, if you had my problems, you would use like I do. And that's not the case either, because a lot of people have problems and they're not drinking and using drugs extensively. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that have shit tons of problems and aren't, but maybe they don't have addiction issues. I don't know. It was a very still lonely time for me, and I think back on that, and the only way I can kind of explain it is that when I look back on it, I see myself constantly by myself. I don't see me, my memories aren't of me interacting with people. My memories are me of laying in bed and just being out of it and looking out the window and it's snowing, or walking around my apartment or standing in my shower, just very lonely moments. And it feels very much on a spiritual level, this is what's weird, I was preparing to die. And I think that's why I struggle so hard with it. I don't know, And then around the 17th, my sobriety birthday, I always get very grateful. I am very grateful, but it's hard. It's I remember back on that, and it's just I don't know. And the thing is it doesn't even seem like Peter. It doesn't even, that person doesn't even seem like me. I look back and I think about that person, I'm I don't know who that person was, But he comes out in bits and pieces at times. When do stores start being open 24 hours? Is that after Black Friday? I guess that Walmart's open 24 hours all the time anyway, so it doesn't really matter. That was kind of a stupid question, Peter. I was thinking about that Walmart. I was why are they open? Anyway, oh God. I went down a sad little spin there, didn't I? So many of my friends that I used to use with back in the day are dead, It's I look at that and I think, and the weird thing is, have been dead for a while. They've been gone for 15 plus years, 20 years, And I'm so sad. Just lives lost. And I could have been that. That could have been me. But it's not. And I gotta be grateful for that. And I am, Being sober has so little to do with drinking and drugging, but it's obviously everything when you first get sober, But over time, it's you realize what this, it's this amazing gift that you've been given, this insight into this whole other world, this way of looking at things that you never looked at it before, and you can't really explain it to somebody unless you've gone through it yourself, and it's just this amazing feeling, It's this amazing kinship, and I don't know, it's very awesome. Now, though, this is why holidays are important to me with family and stuff, is because, not that I haven't had my years that I've been I have to go to my family's, but you know what I mean? Once I get there, I love it, because I took those things for granted, when I was using and stuff. I didn't want to be there, and I sure as shit wouldn't go unless I had had a couple drinks or was high or had eaten a couple pills, you know what I mean? I can't deal with that. That would be how I'd be I can't deal with that. It's like going to a concert sober and you realize how much more you enjoy the music. It's like, you know, the first couple of holidays I had, I was like, God, I didn't realize how much I really loved these people, even though they drive me crazy. You know what I mean? So, anyway, all right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. If you're in the Midwest, if you're getting, or wherever you are, if you're getting the nasty winter weather, make some hot cocoa. And, oh, the battery's dying anyway. Make some hot cocoa and watch a movie and cuddle into your bed and watch a movie called The Peter Monn Vlog. Peter Vlogs. I forgot my channel name for a second. Peter Vlogs. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.